The 1-star review that's been making headlines. So, I'll read this off. 1 star. This is, by the way, a little bit of context. This is not a review of Trapdoor, right. Although we've had our fair share of 1-star reviews, like everyone else in the industry has, and any industry.
And there's always a discussion of how do we respond to those.
Right.
Because, you don't want to come across too mean, and you want to acknowledge what they're wrong about.
But yeah, this is the review that was left at a company on the other side of the country. Definitely never going back. Went there for my brother's birthday and were disappointed by our experience. We played the attic room, which I think was the most difficult room. At the beginning, there was just a bunch of rules on what we shouldn't do and stuff we shouldn't touch. If it's not a part of the game, then put something better than a dumb red stickers on it. The clues had nothing to do with the story, and there was no fun clues or riddles. The whole thing was just an endless series of finding codes or locks and looking for keys. When we finished the room, we met the owner, who was rude and didn't seem to know what he was talking about. I'm guessing he was just butthurt that we didn't like it. We will not be returning to this place. It was super disappointing. So, I actually read that more articulately than it was written. Because my brain just doesn't process to read that way. But, I mean, regardless of how it was written, let's just talk about the fact that he described an escape room.
Yeah. This is probably someone that had never played an escape room before.
Because it played like an escape room.
Yeah. This had to be their first escape room.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
But, we were talking last week about, whether or not people actually read before they buy or have any idea what the hell they're even getting into. But what made this review kind of a little bit, I guess we should say, famous was the owner's response. And yes, we have that too.
We have it.
Okay. Response from the owner. We appreciate all feedback at so-and-so. So thank you for this somewhat shocking review. Like most escape rooms, we clearly mark items which are not part of the game. This was also stated to your group, including oral intros on the website, during registration, and on the signed waivers. He continues, naturally, it's impossible to exhaustively and comprehensively list every conceivable activity one should avoid. For example, we do not explicitly warn guests against attempts to set the building alight because most recognize the benefit in avoiding such acts. We actually do. We like to think the creativity of our puzzles will electrify guests, but unfortunately in this case, we were merely pleased our safety precautions ensured guests were not literally electrified. As you know, though you do not mention in your review, members of your group ripped wires out of props, wires which were wire-tied, taped, and had markers on them indicating they should not be touched. A member of the group thus pulled the wires apart and thrust those bare wires into a live electrical outlet, also marked with warning stickers, damaging the prop and tripping a breaker.
Oh my god.
Wait do you hear his reasons?
When asked why they'd stick bare wires in an outlet, the response was, I know a lot about electricity.
Did our president play this game?
Mike, we just lost viewers due to the climate change talk.
I'm okay with that.
Several participants, though not all, were rude and indignant. Nevertheless, we offered and they accepted a refund. Even considering the time and effort it took to repair the damages, we would welcome you back. That's just stupid. As long as your group will follow our very few and simple guidelines. Discuss.
So, I mean, the thing I love about reviews, and the thing I love about people as a whole, is that they never take blame onto themselves for anything. So you get this review of a guy saying this game sucked because we had to play an escape room, and then you find out why exactly they thought it sucked, because they damaged like half the game.
Yeah.
I'm glad the owner posted that response back because it really shows. Everyone likes to play the victim card, especially when they're at someone else's place of business. It's never your fault when you do something stupid at someone else's business. You smash a camera and it's the company's fault for sending you the wrong camera. And I've had to deal with that at my old customer service job where people break stuff and then claim that it was our fault.
Right.
So pinpointing exactly what these players did, on behalf of the owner was just brilliant. But
that's above and beyond.
He was far more forgiving than I think most people would be.
We wouldn't be. That person would be banned for life.
They would be banned for life, and we would have charged them for the damages.
Yeah, right. We would have kicked them out when that happened.
I mean,
don't F with trapdoor, yo.
So I mean,
that's really risking a fire. And
that was
permanent destruction of things.
Yeah, I mean, as the guy points out, someone could have died.
Yeah.
There's that level of responsibility where, if you saw these people playing with live wires and shoving them into live electrical outlets, and you kept them in the game, you run the risk of letting an accident happen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's been plenty of times that we've seen a situation going in a direction like that, and we've halted.
Yeah, we put an end to it.
And the guy's reasoning, not even that he's an electrician, but he knows a lot about
electricity.
What does that even mean?
Apparently
you don't know that much because you're sticking live wires into an outlet, so that's not good.
I've had to. I point this out when we do the F5 game that all of the electronic devices in the game are there to make sure the game functions.
Right.
It's all there for functionality.
Automating the tornado.
So if you come across, if you come across a wall outlet, don't stick something into it because it's not part of the game.
Right.
Remember
where you are and what you're trying to do.
Well, see, that's a big element that we deal with a lot versus theme parks. Is that it's a very similar situation of our experiences are built in real buildings. This isn't a movie set where you have the ability to not touch anything or see what the cameraman doesn't want you to see.
Yeah.
With us, we can't hide something in a shot because you have 360-degree peripheral vision. You can see everything in these rooms. There's only so much we can hide before the building is no longer operational and violates fire code.
Right. Yeah,
theme parks go through the exact same thing. There's outlets in all different places, and there's real emergency exit signs and all that stuff. The difference is you're riding past them.
Yeah.
You're not actually walking through it.
You don't have the opportunity to engage with it.
Right. It was like we had, before we had met Chris, our head of our engineering department, we had actually interviewed a former employee from Disney World that worked on the animatronics there. And when she came in and looked through what we were looking to do in Freak Show, she was like, no. I was like, what do you mean no? And she's like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole because your players can touch the work. Versus at Disney World, they can't touch Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
So, except for the live actor in the costume, but totally different scenario.
It's a really just bizarre
situation. And they were still using the old sticker system, which makes it even more clear, don't touch this.
Right. We killed the sticker system in year one because we thought it broke the immersion.
Which it does, but it does make it much clearer that, if there's a sticker on an outlet, our rules are there for a reason. They're for your safety as much as the game's safety. We're not trying to trick you with the rules.
Yeah, when we say don't take out the air conditioner, it means don't take out the air conditioner.
It doesn't mean, they told us not to touch it, so there must be something there.
No. God, that used to drive me insane in QRZ in Red Bank when it was there.
The temperature must mean something.
Yeah, the air conditioning unit in the window.
It's for your comfort. Don't take it out.
We're not trying to trick you. When we say don't pick up the candles in Witch Hunt, it's because we don't want you to pick up the candles in Witch Hunt. It's not because there's some secret under the candles.
Right.
We're not trying. That's not part of the game. The rules are not part of the game. The rules are there for your safety. They're there for the building safety. They should be obeyed.
Absolutely.
I find it really fascinating too that they had to sign waivers, and that's not something that we do. We put all those terms in
their ticket sale.
In the ticket sale, but you physically have to sign something, so you have to read this docket of
no one reads
paper. But still, it's there.
Theoretically,
you give them this physical thing that they probably kind of sift through, but they probably don't read it in detail. But it's there. Like, I mean, it's easy to ignore all of the back matter of an email. But when you give someone this document, they'll peruse through it, and something will catch their eye. So I mean, the fact that they had like 5 opportunities to read up what you can and cannot do in this escape room, and then one I like the electricity, and then almost
that's
had to
right
themselves.
in with when we have we had actually added through our ticket sales process that if you were to purchase your tickets, you have to check a ticker box for 2 different topics. One is that you realize that Trapdoor is public ticketing, and unless you've privatized your experience, you could be booked with others. Right. And that you may not arrive intoxicated to the experience. Now, the intoxication one, nobody asks about it, they just sneak it and hope you don't notice.
Yeah.
But the public ticketing one, how many times still people buy the tickets and then they call up and they're like, so we're not going to be grouped with others, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, or they check the box off, and then when they find out that they're playing with other people, they complain. And that happened to Frank and I a couple of weeks ago.
It's frequently, but yeah.
But I mean, that was the first time I had seen it in a while. There was like a mom and 3 kids, and these this other family booked into it.
Yeah, that does especially happen when there's younger kids. They don't want them playing with creepy strangers.
But, understandable.
Sure. But again, it
then
is...
privatize the experience.
Right, it is right on our ticket buying page.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you guys think of this situation with this 1-star review? Have you as a player ever left a review that, like, maybe a month later you thought to yourself, maybe I should redact that review? We've seen that happen. We've had reviews get pulled from our pages that were really messed up reviews, and then my favorite, and I shouldn't condone this, but I absolutely get giddy when I see it, is when someone will leave a review shouting out really, really stupid stuff, and then other players of ours attack their review until they pull it. We really have never done any dirty tactics with reviewers. It's not like we're a certain game in Vegas that gives you merchandise for free if you leave a 5-star review. But we can't control our players attacking somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
So
when our players point out everything that they said wrong in their review.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to leave us a negative review, at least be like well spoken, think it out a little bit, and be a little bit more thorough in why you don't like it, and just instead of just making something up and fabricating it. Because remember, we have security cameras in all of our games. We can pull that footage, and we can prove your review to be totally incorrect if need be. So I mean,
or my personal favorite, they didn't even play.
We got a bad review when they didn't play.
We've had that a few times.
Whoever you are.
Not only have we had reviews where they were reviewing the wrong escape room.
Yes, I remember that.
We've had people like by name call out game masters that we've never had that name employed at Trapdoor, and it's not even close to like one of our people's names. It's like, oh, Patrick really was a jerk in my game session. It's like,
who's Patrick?
Yeah, we don't have a Patty.
Never had a Patrick at Trapdoor in the history of the company, so I don't know where you're going with this. But and then they'll start calling out things about the game, and it's like, oh, you played 20 minutes away from us. You didn't play here. Can you please remove the review? Yeah. And then they don't.
Yeah.
That's so funny because
then people can't admit they're wrong.
I mean, how many people have called us being like, "Are you so and so escape room?" I'm like, "No, that's like 2 towns over." Well, do you know their terms and conditions? No, because we're not.
Why would I?
Yeah, we got that.
Like I got that call the other day.
We got that the other day. Do you know their terms and conditions? No.
You think that's bad?
What's their return policy? I don't know.
The Poconos location, at least 10 to 15 times a day, we get called asking if we're Resort X, and then can we provide information about Resort X? After they're told that we're not, and we're a Trapdoor escape room, this is the Cure Z escape experience, they'll want to know, like, well, can you tell me a bit about their rooms? What's the accommodations like? Do you know when check-in is? It's
Well,
like
TripAdvisor.com/resortx. Pay attention.
That was
Look
one of the topics I wanted to discuss today, but we had so much stuff in here already. How people think we're all the same company. People think every escape room is the same company. Well, we'll probably cover that next week.
Episode 3.
Yeah. But that's part of that too. It's like, no, we don't know everybody else, and we're a different company. They don't have the same policies that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.